Welcome, everyone. This is Key Punching University. My name is Jim Gonsolin. Very happy to be hosting this from Laurelville, Louisiana. We're very excited to have these three young ladies, two young ladies and a young man here, very young man, right, Doug, on with us tonight to share about some events. We do this call every Monday night at 6 o'clock Central Time. We've been doing this now for over 30 years. Obviously, we went from a phone call to a Zoom. Technology is always our friend if we learn to use it. And I'm very happy to have Doug and Sharon all with me, and they brought their friend Stacey on to share some great insight for us. Doug and Sharon live in Jacksonville, Florida. They've been there about 3 years. And part of what is intriguing about what they'll share tonight is how they've blended into that community. You know, we've got a program now with Juice Plus, 120 events in 120 days. Well, they're off to a very good start, and they're going to share some information with us. Doug and Sharon have 3 children. They live in Jacksonville, Florida. They've both been involved in our business, and each of them, as well as Stacey, are at the National Marketing Director position. Very accomplished position, and Doug and Sharon will share more about their story in a couple of minutes. Those of you that are listening in for the first time, this is our community. We've built a trusted community all over the world. Juice Plus has been in business now for 31 years itself, and the company has been in business over 50 years. Doug, I'm going to ask you to share a little bit more about you and Sharon, and then go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks, Jim. Appreciate you so much and your leadership and running this call for all these years and just building and pouring into the Juice Plus community. My background is in the education field. I was a school teacher. In fact, me and Sharon, I love having Stacey on here. I'm going to try and keep this focused on those two ladies as much as possible because it was around that time when Sharon was relatively new in the business when she met Stacey, and she'll tell you that story how that went. But when we learned about Juice Plus, I was a school teacher. She was a guidance counselor, and then we had Julie Herbst was the TV production teacher, and Joel Herbst was the assistant principal at the school. So we were all working together and just learning about Juice Plus, and I had no idea what this was going to become in our lives. I was just focused on my own career for probably at least the first 7 years or so until she made a national marketing director, and that's when I went to a conference. I got the vision for what this company's really all about and what was really going on here. I also just I'm not proud of the fact, but that's the first time I really thought serious about this business as a business and what it means, what makes a company great. What does integrity mean? What does great leadership mean? What does vision mean? And then what does great products mean? And the fact that we have consumable products, and not only that, we're not just salespeople, but we're able to build a team. So it's kind of like a couple of school teachers have the same ability to build something massive and significant that I don't know. I just thought a regular guy like me could never be involved in something like that, like starting a business and like growing it large. But, we've been able to do that. And Sharon was just amazing through the whole process. And I might chime in a little bit here and there to give you more details as she shares. But tonight we're talking about events, and we want to give you guys vision for how to get out in your community, create great events. Hopefully you're going to get some good ideas from this. And we brought Stacey Turner along with us because she is just incredible with events, and we look to her for inspiration all the time as well. So in general, the live event is definitely back. In fact, we're pretty much exclusively doing live events now. We still promote some Zoom events, especially with our team that are in more isolated areas and whatnot. But for us personally, the live event is really, really working well. And the thing that's unique about us and Stacey is that we just moved to Jacksonville about 3 years ago. So it was our first time after being really in South Florida our whole lives, coming up to North Florida, having that experience that we'd seen Stacey do multiple times. Stacey had moved around the country a number of times, and she's very good at getting to a new place and getting to know people and starting that relationship building. We were on about a 1 year delay when we got here. It took us a little time to get going, but since then, things have really cranked up, and I'm just really proud of what we've been able to do, especially what Sharon's been able to do. So I'm going to turn it over to Sharon now.
Okay, thanks. Well, this is our 25th year with Juice Plus, and we're still excited as ever. And one of our human needs, according to Brandon Barber, is variety, and the variety comes with the people we meet and the things that we do in this business. And everyone has got their own personality, their own style. And with events, you can include those, you can pick and choose what you want to do. I love events because it really kind of qualifies people who are interested in hearing more. I feel like it's a great follow-up to a conversation. I might have little bits of conversations here and there with people, but it kind of just brings it all to a head, where it's like, okay, now's the time you're going to hear the whole truth. You're going to hear from point A to B to C to D, why this should make sense in your life. So once I started to do events, it was like, okay, this is a way to really move my business or our business in momentum forward with leveraging your time because you have a number of people, but also as a way to follow up, because sometimes you don't really know what to say in your next time of a conversation with a person. But if you have an event about brain health or about, hey, come taste this or come, come to a potluck or whatever, you have a different thing that you're saying. Plus you're showing that you are in a community of people that is continuing to share healthy things. And one of the things Doug said when we first moved here, he's like, let's be those healthy people to help build a health community. Jacksonville is just a little bit less healthy than South Florida, I have to say. So we really do need to be the lighthouse for our community. And we're working on that. We've been really good. I'm going to take you back in time. At first, it was just sharing one-on-one. And I have to say, it's a slower process. If you're not doing events, you're not leveraging your time. And also, I feel like it's a slower process in building team. If you can get a bunch of people in the room, there is a synergy with that. And people see that we're not aliens with, green heads or whatever, that we're normal people just really trying to make better lives of our own and also to share whatever we've learned. And some of the things I've learned is that you don't have to be perfect, and I think a lot of people try to just be perfect or to know the right things, the right words. You're not going to know, you just have to be okay with being a little uncomfortable and sharing what you do know, and so when events came about, I was resistant. So I have to tell you that. And that might be encouraging to you. A lot of people come up to me after I share this story and they're like, oh, I'm so glad you shared that, because I did not want to present. In my opinion, well, they had presentations that were a lot more oriented about nutrition back then. Now it's just really, what and what about Juice Plus and tasting and things like that. It's a lot simpler now. And if you just follow along on the PowerPoint that we have on boards, as far as a skeleton for events, you're going to be okay. But back then it was talking about sugar, fortification, all these things. And I'm like, I don't know all these things. So I had to reconcile for myself how events would fit for me. And that's something that you might have to do if you're not having events. Figure out what is my own objection to events. One of my team members way back when said, oh, I don't have a table at my house, I can't have an event. I'm like, that is not a reason. So sometimes we come up with stinking thinking just to just be a little more comfortable, right? But moving out of our comfort zone, that's what's going to help move your business forward. And once I started to do events, I went from hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars. So keep that in mind. That is the way that you're really going to be able to build, and you're going to be able to help your team build. And so one of the things I did was just really treat it for a weekend like a college course. I just looked through everything, memorized, practiced in front of a mirror. And then I also used our doctors on the tape. Back then it was a tape. And there was some security in that. I would do the event, but then I'd put in the doctor also. And you still can do that. You can play a doctor or play any of our videos at events. And that just is the doctor in the back pocket. So I want to take you back to when I met Stacey at a trade show event. And she was just somebody special that I knew that she had potential. And I knew I had not done events. The person under me had been speaking at my events. That's how uncomfortable I was. I felt like I was not, a perfect eater. I was not anybody who should be telling somebody else how to eat. So like I said, I reconciled that, but I knew it was time that if I was going to help Stacey to build, I needed to get my act together. So I'm going to turn it over to Stacey because she came right in the middle of that, and she was very welcoming for me to be the facilitator of her first event.
That's so true. And, Sharon and I met, we were strangers, we didn't know each other, but I sure liked the information that she was sharing. And I was hungry for that information. I was a young mom. I was 23 when we first met. Our son was about a year old. I was frustrated with his picky eating. My husband had had pneumonia multiple years in a row and just seemed to catch everything in the office. And so I was looking for solutions, but I knew nothing about nutrition. And I jokingly say, I don't know what Sharon saw in me that day, because I was not nutrition minded. I definitely was not business minded, but we did connect on a level just as moms and of friends, like wanting to be in each other's lives. I've always been entrepreneur minded. That was something my dad passed along to me. So I had my own businesses doing different things. So it wasn't that unusual for me to ask Sharon eventually about doing the business, but I wanted to do it my own way. I was excited about Juice Plus, but I thought I could just present Juice Plus at like different events, such as like a bunco game at my house. And I just expected everybody was going to rush me with their credit card, and that didn't happen. And so I did go to an event at Sharon's house where I caught the bigger picture of somebody else sharing the information in a different way and backing up what I had already been sharing by passing out this cassette tape. And that would be the same for us today, as we're sharing a link to learn more about Juice Plus or to our boards pages, bringing them to an event with somebody else as the speaker, whether it's your upline or it's a watch party, really gives that third party validation that moved those conversations forward. Because as a new person and as a 23-year-old, I didn't have the skills to do that. I didn't know how to educate, but I sure didn't know how to like help them place an order or move them to the point of sale, as we would say. And so they may not have had as much confidence in me either, because they knew I wasn't health minded. They knew I wasn't business minded. And I was so much younger than my peers, the peer group that I was in, and sharing with them. So I just want to encourage anyone that's in like that Gen Z group, just because you are younger than the people that you're sharing with doesn't mean you don't have a place in that conversation, but it could mean that you need to bring somebody else in. And that's what Sharon did for me. She came in, she started doing these events, and I was learning. I was learning from what she was saying, and I was learning how to answer the questions. And my confidence was building to the point just 2 months in, I was doing my own presentations. When I went back to New Mexico to visit my friends and my family, I didn't have her there to go with me. I had to do it. And so I found like I loved it. I really enjoyed doing them. And it was empowering me in stepping into this new area that I didn't know would be an interest, but I did love people. And so it's just kind of grown over the years. I've been able to keep saying yes to this. And I just had no idea where it would end up. And I'm thankful that Sharon was very persistent in her follow-up, because she knew that I didn't know what I didn't know, right? Like she just knew I didn't have all the information to make a hard no or a hard yes or like a solid yes. And so she stuck with me until I got to that point, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
And so when we did the events, she got to sales coordinator, right? We did like 6 events, and that's how it worked. And then she was equipped when she moved to Alabama and New Mexico, and the rest is history. She's still doing events, and we're going to come back to her to hear about all of her different events. But I think Doug might want to ask her some follow-up questions, or he's going to talk about some of the current events that we're doing in our community.
All right. Well, actually, before we get to that, I want to go back to like you and Stacey and tell us a little bit about what did the events look like early on? Like what
Okay.
type of events did you guys focus on? And then Stacey, I think a key question I want people to hear this is as you move to different towns with your whole family, like what kind of events do you do, like when you don't know very many people, and how did you get things going and stuff like that? So tell us a little bit about what kind of stuff you guys used to do and then compared to now, and then how you get things going in a new town.
Okay, well, I think the skeleton of the event is still the same. And I say, you know, the basics are there's a problem. So sometimes there's some statistics about, you know, the disease status in America, even though we're affluent. We have all these things happening. And why is that? You know, we're not really using real food for nutrition to fuel our bodies, things like that. And then we like to go into, you know, oxidative stress, free radicals, and how, you know, we need antioxidants, and that comes from fruits and vegetables. And then we go into why Juice Plus is the perfect solution, because really no one is getting enough fruits and vegetables. And so we do that. We also make shake, which actually I forgot the blender on that very first event of Stacey's, and my downline again saved the day and brought the blender. So, you know, it wasn't perfect, but, and then so we had little booklets back then, and we put the video in, and the video was Dr. Du Bois, and it was like, there were no questions after that. And then you hand out the order forms. And so we try to still get across that even if you're doing a salad in a jar party, a sourdough party, a wellness workshop, whatever, still stick with those skeleton things of oxidative stress. We're not getting enough fruits and vegetables. Juice Plus is a great solution. Here's the order form. We would be remiss if we only shared about doing salad in jars every once in a while, or we only shared about having healthy bread, but didn't share about Juice Plus, which has really brought us all together and is the first and major significant simple change that we did to get us to where we are. So I forget what your question was for Stacey. Hopefully she remembers.
She'll know.
Doug, say it again, just in case.
Oh, I just want to hear your interpretation of like events then versus events now. And then like when you move to a new place, I've always been impressed how you would kind of get business going. It seemed pretty quickly. And for us, we got here in Jacksonville and we were kind of like, gosh, what do we do? You know, it took us a while to figure it out.
Well, I think like Sharon said, really, it hasn't changed that much, and keep it simple. I think the one difference now is a lot of people do more value added events. And, you know, that might look like a salad in a jar party, an overnight oats, a sourdough event, a paint and sip. Like there's all kinds of sort of fun things. And like she said, you really want to make sure you're able to bring in Juice Plus as the solid, you know, answer to these health solutions that people are looking for. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. And so if you don't know how to incorporate Juice Plus strongly into that, then I would say, of course, bring in your upline and somebody that does feel confident, because you know, salad jars are great, but it's not going to change somebody's health. Sourdough is fun, but that would not have reversed the disease process my husband was in. And so I'm just always very clear about that. And I'm very confident with what we have with Juice Plus. But before I was able to be confident, Sharon was the one that was confident. And so bring in your upline and let us help. Like that's what we're paid for. And you're not going to be great at it. I had people that said no right away. My 3 people, I just knew for sure my 3 friends were going to say yes. All 3 of them shot me down. I don't even think they watched the video or listened to the information. I could have easily said, well, you know, people in my life aren't interested in this, but I was like, no, Sharon is getting customers. So if she can do it, why can't I do it? And, you know, that really was something that fueled me forward, staying plugged into the community. As I moved, I needed that support from, you know, where I had moved from. I still needed that support from Sharon to keep moving forward, and that connection. She stayed really well connected with me through all of those moves. And so I raised my family with Juice Plus. Like I said, our first child was 12 months old when we started. And then I used Juice Plus as my prenatal with both of my girls. And they're now 22, 20, and 18. So they've grown up with this. And we did move across the country multiple times. And I will just kind of share this. I mean, different things have happened, right, of different reasons that we moved. But one of them in particular, when we moved, we bought this amazing house in northern New Mexico. We moved back to where we both grew up. We really thought, like, our kids were going to grow up there. We were going to grow old there. My husband's business was doing really well online that he had at the time. Within 2 months of us moving, overnight, his business was canceled with one email, from thousands of dollars a month to nothing. And I had worked as a dental assistant before kids. I really wanted to be home with them. I did not want my sister raising them. I did not want my mom raising them. I wanted to be there. And so I remember that morning, we were just sort of in a panic. And my husband said something about, we could have to foreclose on this house. And I remember hitting my hand on the counter and I said, no, we will not foreclose in this house. I will make this payment. And I was making about $750 a month at that time. I thought, you know what? The kids are older now, which I jokingly laugh about because the youngest was 15 months. The kids are older now. And Colin was like 4. The oldest was 4. Like we had 3 in 3 years. So I was like, I can make this mortgage payment. And I was just determined. And that's when I really got serious about doing as many business events as health events, because I knew my time was limited. I only had so much time during the day, and I didn't want to put them into daycare. I wanted to be home with them and enjoy the time home with them. And so I just had to get really serious about my time, double down on that DMO, really plan out my time to where I could be super efficient in the limited time I had. And I did a lot of events during that time. I got from sales coordinator to QNMD in less than 3 years. Then we moved once again back to Alabama. I got to national marketing director when I was there. And what's interesting, and I had somebody say, nobody from Alabama will ever get to national marketing director. And she was glad I had moved away because she thought there was a chance. And then I moved back and I was like, dang it, I'll show you somebody from Alabama can get to national marketing director. And so mindset really is so much of that. And, through the ups and downs of life, the busyness, the slowdowns, the, upsets, the disappointments, the highs, the lows, like this business just goes with you if you grow through all these changes. And moving to a new market, it's great because you have all these new people, and yet you can think like, I don't want to step in and like they just think all I want to do is sell them something. If that was my mindset, that would be what came across in conversation. One of the things I did is when we moved to this place 7 years ago, I thought, okay, this is my career. I think at this point I could call it my career. And so I was like, when people ask me, so what do you do? They're going to ask you that. I needed a solid answer. And so I came up with, I help busy families simplify their nutrition. And then they would ask me if they were interested, what is that? And then I would say, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? And I would share. If they didn't say anything, that was fine. But often they would come back in the next conversation and they would say, okay, you mentioned this. What is that? What do you mean by that? Or they would have a health crisis and they would come back around. And so I just kind of got some conversations going with people, asking lots of questions. And I was determined I was not going to allow a whole year to go by, because that's what I usually would see. It would take me a year to get established. And I was like, I don't have a year. I want in this community, how can I serve them? I really stepped into this, like, what are the needs here? Where can I fill in a gap? What can I get involved with? What can I say yes to that I'm already going to aid in what they're already doing and build relationships through that, through connections, conversations. I asked a lot of people one-on-one to go to lunch or to go to coffee. My girls would be, mention somebody's name that they were hanging out with at school. And I would say, who do you think that I would get along well with their mom? And they would say, Elena. And I would say, okay, get Elena's mom's number and her name. And I would like to contact with her. I would send her a message and say, hey, we're new to town. Our girls are hanging out at school. I'm just trying to get to know people. Would you like to go to lunch or coffee? And every time they would say yes. It didn't mean they all became customers or all became my friends, but I started to build this network of people, and people here see me as somebody that gives back to the community that I serve, and I connect well. And then that just lends easy to the conversation. When they do have the need, they'll come back to me, or I will hear the need in conversation and I will reach out to them. And just like Sharon started out with, these events are a great reason to reach back to those conversations. You can only ask so many times, what do you think of the information on the video? Did you watch the video? What do you think of the information? What stood out to you? Did you like it? what do you like about the video? I mean, really, you can only say that so many times. And so an event is like, hey, we're doing this event. Come be a part of the fun. I wanted to be someone who brought fun into the community, something new, something different. Hey, what's this Stacey girl about? Like, what's she doing? I want to go to her event and build these salad jars. And really, she's giving back. Like, let's go check it out. And it's just one person at a time, one conversation at a time that lends to building this amazing network of friends first, and then serving them in the aspect of Juice Plus because they see that I have cared about them. And that showed through me really getting plugged into the community. So I think that answers your question, right, Doug?
Oh, heck yeah. I was hoping you were going to give that answer because that's the answer that gets me all fired up. It's exciting. And unfortunately, Sharon and I, it was our first time moving to a new place. So we didn't like have that mindset like, oh, I can't wait. We just kind of like we were redoing the floors and doing this and that and thinking, and then calling back home a lot and wondering what's going on down there. But then finally we figured out we got to get out there. So what we've done is to realize that in order to have events, you have to invite somebody to the events. So you have a couple of options there. I mean, you could go to, I know some people have a great time at networking, business networking and BNI and all that kind of stuff, or setting up trade show tables. I mean, for goodness sakes, that's how Sharon met Stacey. But that's not really, if we weren't working, we wouldn't do that. So we've taken a different approach. We have decided to just literally just participate in our community. And that has been an absolute game changer because, all the same things we're doing now were there. We just weren't doing them. So the same thing for you guys. Where we live, we happen to live in like a more of a planned community. Has a golf course, the country club, all that stuff. But so there's always like activities going on, so there's pickleball, there's the golf, there's golf leagues, there's tennis, there's lessons for all that stuff. There's a big pool area, there's kids clubs and yoga classes, you name it. There's always, then there's a clubhouse that has karaoke night and bingo night and blah, blah, blah. And it's too much for me. I'm more of the introvert. Sharon's the more outgoing one. But I've also made a decision that I will let her drag me along to some of these, or most all of these things, okay? So we started just plugging in. And just like magic, all of a sudden we had people. We started knowing people. And then between that and just being kind of okay on our social media, posting lots of Tower Garden stuff, next thing you know, I'd be playing pickleball. I was like, hey, there's the garden guy, But we also found other ways to interact with the community. And by the way, you don't have to be in some planned community to do that. All communities and even regions have like Facebook and events and Nextdoor. And on Facebook alone, if you just search events local, Sharon just did it the other day. She's like, oh, look, there's movie night or something. Or no, there's music on the green over in Orange Park. And I'm like looking on the map to see if it's a safe neighborhood or something, you know what I mean? So, but we'll just get out there. But also you can bring people to you by, most of us have Tower Gardens. Some of us have extra Tower Gardens. I have extra Tower Gardens. I just grow a lot of food. So then we'll post on Facebook and say, hey, we have extra lettuce. Who wants to come by? And there's always somebody that comes by. Well, it's not like they're going to open the door and I hand them the lettuce. They got to come to the back and we're going to clip off the lettuce and let them ask questions about the Tower Garden and all that good stuff. And that just creates the relationships. Another thing we're getting involved with is just getting plugged into a church community. I have a lot of experience there. I'm a musician, so I play on the worship team, playing drums. And we're just getting involved there. In our church, again, you look for opportunities to just have fun and be social. Well, our church is doing these summer hangouts. And so it's almost like small groups, but it's more of like activity based, So they actually suggested to me, the worship pastor was like, hey, Doug, why don't you teach everybody how to make sourdough bread? And I'm like, I thought you'd never ask. So I have 4 different sourdough bread sessions for the church coming up. And I said to Sharon, I said, we could probably have like 50 people in a class if we teach it at the church. She's like, no way, let's go with 10 people per class and teach a bunch of them. We want them at our house. And I'm like, oh, that's why she's my upline, okay? So, so good. But then also it's like, okay, I'm into like healthy cooking and stuff, and we like meeting other healthy people. We're both vegetarians. So we're also doing a couple of vegetarian potluck nights at the house, which will be like a small group with just vegetarian potlucks. So the different types of events that we're doing now that we're meeting people are obviously the sourdough. You know, everybody's into the sourdough nowadays. But remember what Sharon said. If you do a sourdough or a salad, I mean, I know people that have done salad in a jar, but they don't even mention Juice Plus. They just do salad in a jar, and they're like, "Well, I'm just building relationships." Well, yeah, right. If you don't mention Juice Plus, it's not even an event, maybe. You know what I mean? It's like, why not? You have them there. They want to learn. Why wouldn't you mention Juice Plus? Because you probably have some stinking thinking that that's a bad thing, or you're going to be too pushy or whatever. What if you're just being helpful? What if they have some medical situation and you can impact their health? What if they need money and they join the business and you can impact their lives? I'm pretty sure Julie Herbst has impacted our lives, and we've impacted Stacy's lives, right? So it's like you're doing people a favor when you share this stuff. So we like doing sourdough. We'll do like wellness workshops where that'll usually be like a video sit down event. Wine and wellness, pretty much the same thing, but having little snacks and wine and then a little presentation or a video. We like to do Tower Garden events. We'll do something called a Tower Garden open house or a garden party, or this one I call Seedling Saturday. I grow extra seedlings. You know how it's kind of expensive? No offense if any of our seedling providers are on here, but the shipping is what kills us, everybody, when you order those things. So I just grow extra seedlings, and we invite people over to come check out the seedlings and have some healthy snacks. And now I don't just invite Tower Garden customers, but also prospects, but also if you have seedlings, you can invite regular gardeners, okay? Because they'll take those seedlings and put them right into the ground. Well, that's what they were going to do until they see the Tower Garden. Then they want to buy a Tower Garden, okay? So I love Seedling Saturday, vegetarian potlucks. Then when we get to business, okay? Business are events too, you know, like we do lunch and learns to connect with our teams. And of course we focus on launch calls for our new team members. But another thing before I turn it back over to Sharon, I want to include that we like to make sure that we capture the information of the people that are coming to the events. It's almost like building a mailing list. So, you know, having a sign, there it is. There's a recent sign up list with people signing up. We get their phone number, what they might be interested in. Then I can put it into Project Broadcast. And then when we're doing an event, I can just blast out, hey, we're doing a healthy garden party. If anybody would like to come and blah, blah, blah. Are you available on this date? And so it all kind of works together, you know, this whole thing. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. My final tip, although there might be tips in the end, but I'm going to get one in right now, is whenever you have an event, make sure you have your next event scheduled, because you're going to be chit-chatting at the event. So they're going to say things like, man, this was just great. It's like, well, you know what? We got a Tower Garden event coming up in 2 weeks. You know, maybe you want to come back and maybe bring that sister you've been talking about. We can still share Juice Plus with them while they're here with the Tower Garden, you know? So always have that next event so you have something to talk about.
Awesome. Well, I want to mention when you said sometimes people do a salad in a jar party, but then they feel like they can't talk about Juice Plus. It's all in how you set up the flyer and how you're inviting people. Because what you're worried about is bait and switch. You're bringing them to a salad in a jar party, but then you're going to talk about Juice Plus. So I don't know about everybody, we like to put some form of Juice Plus on the flyer. We like to mention that we're going to also share simple tips to better health. In the inviting process, like we just had a wellness workshop this weekend. I said I'm going to be sharing Juice Plus. I'm going to be doing a presentation for you about Juice Plus so that you have this knowledge. So I went ahead and told them that, and they did show up. So that was good. So, you know, being forthright in your inviting gives you permission to feel like you can present information about Juice Plus. So if you're feeling a little funny about, well, I'm inviting people to sourdough, but how do I then talk about Juice Plus? the whole script has Juice Plus in it, but you've got to start from the beginning when you are inviting people. And I think we're gonna just give some tips. Maybe Stacey, maybe you give a couple of types of events you're doing. I want to mention the taco party I just went to. That was a great one by Laura Turbeek. She literally had some drinks, whether they were alcoholic or illuminate drinks. She had a whole setup of a table with taco things. I think she had some ground turkey. For us vegetarians, she had sweet potato and black beans, and then she had all toppings. Everybody, and she called it Taco About Health. She kept it really simple, really, really simple. Everybody just ate. And then she said, we're going to watch a video. She moved everybody into the room to watch the video, Bridging the Gap, for 12 minutes. She had 3 stories, hers, mine, and somebody else. And then some people asked some questions. And then she said, we have order forms and we have some little samples for you to go. And that was it. And people ordered. So it can be super, super simple. You just have to really do events consistently, make it part of what you do so that you are known as that person. And that's where you kind of just get people back. And I do like having them at our house because we have the Tower Garden, we have the Shake, we have all that. If we did it at the church, it's like, we're not sharing a part of us. When you are having people at your house, you're also sharing part of who you are and you're being transparent, and people love that. Okay, so Doug, Stacey, we want you to give us ideas on how to close an event effectively and just mention a couple of your events. I know we're going over how long they usually stay on this call.
Yeah, sure. So one of our favorites is a street taco event, and it's just chicken taco meat that I found a recipe online for. Look up chicken street tacos, and it's just little street taco tortillas instead of a big one. I don't know why people always are like super excited about street tacos. So we just keep doing them. And I have people that are now saying, I want to come to your street taco event. And I've heard such great things about it. So I don't know why. Maybe it's because we're in New Mexico and we all like tacos, but I think there is something to that. So that's one that we do often. And I do love the sourdough events because it just builds this huge network. I've had a privilege of teaching about 350 people now in our small town. I mean, there's only 12,000 people that live here. And so to me, that's a significant number of people that we've been able to share and step in. It's all cold market people to me. I don't know them, and I'm starting to, have people coming. And most of my events, I don't even know the people now that are coming there. So sourdough just really brings people to the table and they show up, which is really nice. It is more work and prep, but it's great if you close it well. And so I'm glad that Doug brought that up, because it's one thing to talk about Juice Plus, but it's another thing to actually get orders. And so if you want to get orders, you have to guide them to that. People say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But that's kind of the same as like you take a horse to and open the gate and you say, okay, horse, go find the water. Or do you take them by the lead and take them to the trough and like show them this is the water? So we're going to take people to the trough. We're going to give them the order form. So I will just casually say, I know some of you had questions and you were eager to get started with Juice Plus. I'm going to show you these order forms and explain how it works. You order directly from the company. We simply facilitate the order for you. So you're going to pay the company, and then the company is going to ship it to your door. They're going to ship everything to you in a 4-month supply, and then you get to pay one payment at a time. So you're giving it a 1-month trial or commitment every month. And I just encourage you at least give it 4 months. That's why they ship it in 4-month supply, but really for a whole year. So let's look at this order form. First is the quad. That's the fruit, vegetable, berries, and omegas that we talked about. That's what I take. That's what my husband takes. That's what my family takes. And so that's what I recommend, especially for adults. And then we have the complete, which is an all plant-based smoothie mix. We do this for lunch or for breakfast. So this is part of our grocery budget. The capsules are a part of our medical bills. At first, we were paying medical bills and Juice Plus as our immune system strengthened. Now we're just investing in Juice Plus. I mean, look at the quad, or even if you go with the trio, look at the trio, $2.60 a day, 67 cents a day. If I sent you to Walmart with $3, how much produce could you come back with? I mean, really, and people will kind of laugh. And then I'll say, I'll even give you $5. I'll give you $5 a day. Can you even go to lunch somewhere for $5 a day? So you're spending the money somewhere. Let's just shift the budget to where you're investing in Juice Plus and no longer spending on money on things that are not serving you well. Juice Plus is proven to benefit your health. You've heard that. I just say, let's find a way to fit that into your budget. You're going to be so glad you did. So fill out those order forms and let's get you going tonight. So remember, people do what you incentivize. If you incentivize them to get their information, they will give you the information. So you could do some sort of like giveaway or like a first week's worth of Juice Plus for free so that they will fill out the order form. Those that order, I'm going to give you this first week. And then to just close on this, we want to invite people to be a part of our team. So when at the end of an event, I always say we're looking for other people to join with us, and we're on a mission to just help as many families in this community as possible get healthier. And this is such an easy first simple step. And then as they're filling out the order forms, when they're ordering the quad and the shake for them and their husband, that's a partner plus right there. And so I will say, you know what, you might want to do what I do. I pay $52 a year. I partner with the company. The orders are then under myself. And then I started sharing with other people in my life that I love and care about. My mom, my in-laws, my sister. I had some friends that I really thought this will make sense to them. I think they're going to want to know it. Has anyone come to your mind that you would like to share this with? And they'll say, yeah, I think this would be beneficial to my sister or to my mom. And I'll say, excellent. Come do this with us. It's so much fun. You're going to get money back on your own order, and your family is way more likely to order from you. I mean, you can send them to me, but I don't know them. They don't know me. It's going to kind of feel awkward. But if they order from you, that does make sense. My mom would not have ordered from Sharon if I sent her to her. She wouldn't be on Juice Plus 21 years later. Neither would my dad. Neither would my in-laws, not my sister and her family. They stay on Juice Plus with me because I know them. They have a relationship with me. Your family has a relationship with you. Like, does that make sense? Is that something you want to do? And almost always they're like, yes. And so that's the start of building a team. You've got to invite them to that and invite them to join with you, just like you invite them to order Juice Plus. You're inviting them to sign up as a partner with you. That's just the beginning. There's obviously customer care and helping a team member get started, but we've got to ask the question. You have to ask for the sale. They don't know how they get Juice Plus. They don't know how orders work. They don't know who they order it from. Do they just go online? Do you want them to Google Juice Plus and go to some website and you not get credit for them? Why not be the responsible friend? Like, it's professional to guide them and to direct them and invite them to be a part of what you're doing. Had Sharon not done that with me, I would have put that cassette tape. It would have stayed in the drawer. It would have stayed in the drawer. I needed her to follow up with me. I needed her to help me overcome those objections. I needed her to guide me to ordering and then offer the business to me as well. And I'm very thankful I did. And you're going to build a network of people in your life that are thankful that you invited them to be a part of it. So just be brave, just do the events and keep doing them. We build this one person at a time. Sharon had no idea where this would lead. I didn't know it either, but we just kept saying yes, yes, yes to the next thing. So we encourage you to say yes too.
Awesome, Stacey. Thank you. So be the facilitator. You guys can do it. Get over your own objections. If you have some, talk to your sponsor or leader and just try to figure out how to reconcile it. I know I did, and it will empower you. I use that word, Stacey used that word. It'll empower you to build your business bigger. So thanks, Jim, for having us on. Make sure you're participating in the 120 events in 120 days. That doesn't mean you have to do all the 120 events. The whole company's doing that. And go to that website, Juice Plus Events North America. You're going to see pictures of what everybody's doing around America, and it's really cool. Thanks, Jim.
This was awesome. This was flat out awesome. Y'all gave a whole year's worth of training. Look, everybody clapping on the screen. John Garner in California. What I get from this is the energy that you guys are sharing with each other. Stacey, you said you did what Sharon said until you got it yourself. Sharon learned from you. Doug learned from both you ladies. Smart guy, Doug. When you pay attention to what's working, in our business, it's okay to borrow ideas. because we're all in this together. We all help each other. Stacey and I, is the first time we actually meet on a Zoom. How did I meet Stacey? Through Sharon and Doug. You just never know. And Stacey talked about mindset. That's one of the things I took away from what all of you said. Your mind has to be right. And it takes a little while to get that mindset. How do you get it? You hang around people that have the mindset. Very simple. So thank you guys immensely for sharing what you've shared tonight. From 2 different parts of the country, we got people from all over. Folks, get with your support team member. If you're brand new, this call, believe it or not, was for you. To paint a picture for you to see what's available. Your job is to find out whether it's a fit for you or not, whether it's Juice Plus and or the business. Stacey, I love what you shared about the way you get people to understand what they can do, that you're serving them, that you're blending into their needs. Sharon, you talked about that, identifying what's needed. Doug and Sharon have done that. Folks, if you don't have an idea of this call, you weren't listening. So go out and do what you can to really increase your impact in helping other people be healthy. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Hang on just a minute.